as well as the last one we just got for $600.
What are you talking about, the $600?
I just sent you an invoice from New Day Energy for $600 for the.
Yeah, we just signed a check today.
New Day?
Right, New Day, yeah. And where'd that come out? I'm just curious where'd that come out of? Building maintenance or?
Here.
What do we have for current expenses?
So see, I don't know if the heat line is just pellet.
I think I printed this out before I paid that bill.
607?
Yeah,
New date.
Townhouse maintenance.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah. 02630.
And usually a pellet delivery is somewhere around $400, correct?
It's usually 400.
So the 607 was pellets or was it?
No, that's for boiler maintenance.
Okay, so
The
that-
cleaning of that boiler, it needs an ash motor and a pressure relief valve.
So the boiler maintenance number of $125 reflects what?
Is that an ongoing line? That's usually the cleaning cost,
Okay,
but it needed more than that.
okay.
Yeah, I needed some parts.
Right, so,
And it often needs more than that, a part here or a part there, right?
Correct, yeah.
So you can't just say it's
right.
So-
cleaning.
See, I didn't know where that line come out of,
Yep.
that's why I don't see that.
So on the heat end, should we leave it at 2?
I would probably go to 25. The building seems to be getting used a little bit more than it was prior.
$26 and $13.
What'd we use last year?
2016?
Yeah.
1,800.
We
See-
used
see-
1,800 already this year, 1,800 last year, 1,780 the year before.
And that just depends on one fill.
Yeah,
You know, it
that's
could
right.
be a week off, so you can have
Yep.
$400, so 18 will be over the 2. So we could be this year that 1 week off from the end of the previous year, you know what I mean?
So if they do it mid-January?
They,
So is your recommendation 2,500?
yes.
Okay.
And we might have that left over because we missed that week or 2 weeks that it comes in January as opposed to December.
Townhouse maintenance.
So boiler cleaning, boiler maintenance, cleaning of the townhouse are all in that line, but there are also other things.
Yeah, there's a few clapboards that need to be replaced, something to touch up paint. It's not ready for a complete paint job yet, that would be 19.
That's townhouse outside maintenance.
I don't know where it comes.
We have two lines, townhouse maintenance.
Townhouse
and-
maintenance is stuff that happens all the time.
And townhouse outside maintenance.
So if you add a $600 boiler service
Mhm.
to the 125 boiler maintenance and the 350 cleaning, you're at 1,025. Is there any room for movement on the 4,400? Could we make that $2,000?
I don't know what that involves, what
Well,
comes out of that.
yes,
You
Well,
have
it was-
dolly,
it was two-
and you have mowing.
It was $2,000 and the other 2,400 was rollover from the year before. So
Okay.
Because
two
we had
$2,000 was
we
the
had
standard.
insulation and we had storm windows
Right,
that were done this
So we're
year.
at that line, $2,000,
yep.
so minus 2,400. Okay.
Yeah.
So $2,000, okay.
All right, townhouse outside maintenance. That's
That's mowing.
mowing and shoveling.
Yeah,
But you also identified that we need to do some clapboards.
some clapboards and some touch-up paint.
Yep. So we had 1,000 this year, we're probably gonna be pretty close to that for the year. What do you wanna add for clapboards and touch-up?
$1,500.
Okay. 1,500 additional?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be 2,500?
The columns on the front step, the bottom are popping a little bit.
Yep.
Okay, next is townhouse improvements. Is that different than?
Last year, we had the front of the roof done, that should be under that, I believe. I don't know what that came out of,
$1,460 is what we spent.
or if that was a warrant article, I don't remember what that was. We shingled the roof, the front side of it, was that 30?
The insulation came out of this townhouse improvement.
Yeah, that was done, yeah, that was 14.
1460.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the windows, I believe, was carried over.
Mhm.
So
That's
are
the
there
only thing.
improvements that need to be made?
Just the firewalls and the paint over there, other than that, there's really not any, unless you wanna revisit those lights again inside.
We didn't we
Well,
already?
inside lights are an ongoing issue. One of the things
Right.
we've talked about in the past and haven't done anything about is outside lights and the advisability of putting at least one pole light out there by the top of the back parking lot.
Yeah, it's a matter of going in the attic and then just running a wire across and getting a light on the back that's connected to the front lights. Like we can put it on the building.
To shine even over toward that.
The lower parking lot, like you're talking about?
Yeah.
I think we can get something in that way. To put a light out there is a matter of digging the parking lot up and all that.
Well, all right, so let's take your approach and put some additional, maybe focused lighting
Right.
off the top of the building.
If it's on a peak on the back by the chimney, or even they might gonna put one on a little mast behind the chimney so it gets up a little higher, or something that's right in that direction, that can be on the same time, and that no one uses anyways, because they're on this morning, so.
Well, that might have been my fault, because when I go in at night, I always turn it to on,
You don't want it on, you want it off.
but when you leave, you turn it to the timer.
Right, and
And-
off,
Huh?
and off.
And off,
Yeah.
right. But the problem is that you leave it on the timer while you're in there, and people are coming and going, and then the
Right.
lights go off.
Yeah.
So that's why I always turn it the other way. My bad. All right, so you had $3,500 this year. We've spent 15 to do lights and stuff. What are you thinking about?
Depends what you want, I mean, it depends what kind of fixture, like, it was like when I priced out front here, it was, almost fell on the floor, just for the fixtures itself, but that's just can be spots, it can be LED spots, or just a head, so.
Right.
For $1,000 in there, we'll change some of the other ones as well, with LEDs in them. Because they're all regular incandescent floods.
All right, so
Yeah.
$1,000
An
total.
electric, and we'll get the timer straightened out, we'll put some lights, so they're all around the building on the same timer, because right now, the canopy and the lights out back are just on a switch,
Right.
and they have to be shut off,
Right.
so.
So we had 3,500 in this year, and we
And
spent.
how much is,
And we spent 1,500. All right, so do you want just 1,000 total, or you want within that?
well, I would say it's probably $1,000 just to do the electrical work, and the
Okay.
lights. So, and what comes out of that line?
Out of that line, townhouse improvements? I don't know.
Nothing really.
It's-
Nothing, so it's just
Nothing.
anything new.
It's new
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Improvements. Keyword is improve. It's like progressive. The keyword is progress.
Right.
I'm
$1,200, how's that,
Oh, all
for the
right.
line?
How much?
1,200,
Okay,
all right. Highway building electric is,
And then if we
Are they-
back up, back to the townhouse, just to back up.
Yeah.
Are we gonna look into a generator there or no?
are we
Mr.
replacing?
Emergency Manager?
Not this year, probably.
Are we replacing any generators this year?
We only have two. Fire station in here, that's it.
Right.
Just the two.
I haven't been able to get prices to nail down an electrician to actually come in and do prices for the different buildings, but I am working on that.
Can I work with the chief on that? When I spoke to Ann at USDA, we might be able to get a grant, because you need transfer switches and generators,
Right.
and we buy in bulk, we might get a deal.
See, up there is a small unit, which is more or less to keep the heat going and some lights.
More like a house unit.
You know, so very, very small unit. The biggest issue is where it's gonna go. You know, we'll have to go and leave that high in the back, and then we've got gas tanks that have to go there and distance from the building and all that. Because if you put it anywhere else, it's under the parking lot and all that. That's
Right.
just a nightmare. You don't really wanna stick on the front of the building. So,
Okay, so generators off the table here.
Right now, yeah.
Okay, so we're 1,200, can we keep moving here,
Yeah.
folks? Electric for the highway department? Is it up, unlike everybody else's? What happened? Are they not participating in our new program,
What new program?
buying cheap power?
we haven't got that yet.
All-
That's starting in
all-
January.
Yeah, all of our
It's
buildings.
on the way.
All of our buildings are in the program, so I don't,
Starting in January, most likely.
yeah. So I don't know what,
The electric doesn't usually run any more than 1,900 at the height, at its height in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
What was it from last year to this year?
so last year we spent not quite 1,400. This year we're gonna be in the same ballpark, and we've spent 1,200 so far.
Okay,
So you're saying 1,500 ought to handle it.
No problem.
good.
Okay,
Heat?
The highway heat, I lowered the amount from last year. It was, I think because you got the
Good a bit of
heat,
deal on
the
propane.
doors.
Plus the doors, I think.
I wondered if the doors had anything to do with it.
Possibly.
Yeah.
well, the
Replacement.
fact that we have operators on the doors now, and that the doors seal better, is gonna help us out, because you don't have operators, and you raise them manually, you leave them up more than you would.
Right.
So,
I just paid a bill, a propane bill for the highway.
Mhm.
This week, it's in the pile, so
is that in here?
Highway heat.
You ran this morning, so it ought to be, right?
327.
yeah, I did, I included it manually, yeah.
So-
It's-
Right.
Yeah, it is in there, it is.
So we're still well below the $5,000 allocated for heat.
Yep.
So shall we go down to 3 or what are we gonna
I'm comfortable with 3.
do? Me too.
Okay.
Highway propane, that's-
Okay. So he wants to paint the whole building at $6,150.
It's multiple buildings,
Right.
and make repairs to them.
He also mentioned yesterday repaving and grading.
That's a warrant article.
Yeah. Article number 7.
Town garage.
So
The cost, the $6,400 cost this year, of that, $4,800 was the overhead doors. And the electrician came at $1,500
Right, we
to do
changed-
the works.
Did the work for the doors, and then they changed the panel this year.
So most of that is the door.
So other than the painting, are there any big, and the paving's a warrant article, are there any other
I don't think so. Electric's all brand new there.
They updated
The lights are all new. Yeah. They got the ventilation now.
all,
So if we would go to 6,500, that gives them a few $100 to mess around.
yeah, if a truck backs into a door or something.
Well, let's hope we have insurance
No.
for that.
We have a
Deductible.
deductible.
$1,000.
So $6,500 for that line?
Yep.
So Jack, the electrical, when it comes to generator, because that was one of the places on the list.
Right.
So when it comes to a generator, putting a generator there, there's
Right.
not gonna be any surprises that wiring needs to be brought
Of
up
course it's
to.
gonna be.
No, it's the panel's brand new.
Okay,
You just replaced the panel.
good to know.
The socket's
Right,
not
she
doing
can
the outside of
cross
the
that
panel.
It kind of drives up the cost.
Well, there'd be a transfer switch, feed the panel there, and that's it.
Okay.
Just won't be on, big stuff.
Our next line is library outside maintenance.
Wow, that's a good one.
2550. And the septic design, did we already pay someone that?
Some of it, yeah, $800, I believe.
60%.
So on, the design is $1,450. There's $300 to sue to the state, there's $250 for the first test, and there's $200 to dig the hole.
It comes out at 1330.
Are you not putting that into the septic system number, Article 8?
Well, you have to pay it now, so you really can't. include it.
Here's the issue that I see with putting it in the article on the warrant, is you can't do anything until after town meeting. And we won't know how much a septic system costs until we get the design done. So we gotta get the design, you get it priced, and 30,000 we have in there, it may be way off of what
It'll
is.
be a lot less than that.
So I think we gotta go ahead and get that design work done.
It's just
and then
because
get
it's
it costed out.
relocated, so there's a bunch of clearing to do it, because it's gonna be put out back, so it's, doesn't have to be moved again for the
Right.
building if it's built.
Well, and let's face it, when you put a placeholder in and it's way high, it's not the problem that if it's too low is. So
Exactly.
Well, if you include all of the things on the narrative,
Mhm.
you're at $5,050.
For the design?
No, this includes
Oh,
septic
okay.
design, the continuing pumping of the septic, as well as mowing and shoveling.
Is there any alternative?
So, to what?
Other than the 5,000 figure? It has,
No, it's
No.
pretty much.
you said 5,050?
5,000, well, I think
5,080 exactly, but.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, because he said a
Really?
amount. No, he said
Take notes.
5,050.
Jesus.
Hey, that 80 bucks, you know?
So $5,100, you wanna put that in the line?
So,
God,
is
everybody's-
there any other outside maintenance of the library?
Because they have shoveling, mowing, septic.
When was the last time that building was painted?
It was touched up, it was never really painted, I know they did some stuff around the front. I was thinking, put a little bit in there to touch it up, and they'll put it, include it with this building, that building, and then for 19.
Yeah.
I believe Ron used to touch it up, he would do all that, I never really did that building.
What's your suggestion? We should bump this to 5,500?
Have they shared with us, hey, we have a window that needs to be replaced or anything like that? I mean, it's their building.
I had the walkway done last year, I do the lines on the parking
Right.
lot.
Yeah. Well, I know that window at the one end of the building is really
Oh, it's
rough.
starting to go, yeah, the bay window's starting to run out, yeah, but,
And at the other end of the building, they have those big columns
yeah,
facing the woods. They're all rotted out at the bottom.
oh, yeah.
So,
But we have a unique situation this year with the warrant article.
Right, so I would kind of leave it, and then,
well, here's,
Some of it.
again, comes back
Yeah, what
to
happens
Chip's
when it
question.
fails?
We say, oh, we're not gonna do
Right.
this stuff. I mean, and the relationship between the library and the town is a special relationship. But we also, I think, have a responsibility to make sure that the assets we have just don't crumble in around us. And,
The assets are ours to take care of.
yeah, so.
I usually never heard anything about that building until something needed to be done, didn't get done, and then.
Right, right.
For me to find out how to get it.
Well,
I'm willing to keep it at 5,100.
I thought we said 5,500.
Okay, 55.
All right, 55. Page 2.
Fire station improvements.
What do they need?
All right, and we have the expert here, thank you.
Thank you for waiting, Ann.
get to learn lots of
What's going on?
things.
I don't have a narrative on this guy.
Fire station
How about
improvements,
property
we're looking
maintenance
to
improvement, like
replace the
pool,
deteriorating cement aprons at Melvin Station for $3,600. And repairs and painting Melvin Village and Mirror Lake Stations 23. I was trying to get an estimate from the same gentleman who's gonna do the buildings at the highway. And the week that I talked with him, he was going in for surgery and didn't hear back.
He's recovering now, so.
So my total budget for improvements was $5,900.
Next item, fire station electric.
And that's for both stations. I put in 2,000.
Thank you, Jed.
Yep.
All right.
And hopefully if things go down.
Yep.
Right.
Melvin Station heat and Mirror Lake heat.
Let's see. Melvin Village Station heat last year was at 28. I reduced that to 19. And then Mirror Lake was at 29. I reduced it to 25. I don't have a current sheet in front of me.
And those are somewhat consistent with
Yep.
the trend.
I think we have another month of electric bills coming in.
Yep.
14 and 16.
Yep, the electric bills, most definitely.
Electric all goes in that other line.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so far,
Yep.
Maintenance,
fire station maintenance.
Fire station maintenance, we had 3,064 last year, and I put the same in for this year.
Okay.
I'm gonna be over budget this year because of the issue we had with the lightning strike.
Yep, all right. So, yeah, we're 3,700 this year, and the submission is 3,600 for 2018,
3604, yep.
3,604.
So that $1,000, or where we didn't, it was over $1,000 because of the lightning strike, but, one way or another, we would either have to pay $1,000 deductible, but it would have been, probably $500 to $700 more. So was it worth doing an insurance claim for $700? And I don't know if your insurance goes up
no, it
if you
doesn't
claim,
always.
but
We did 4 roofs up the Waldorf School for, I don't know, $55,000. There was no change.
no change. Okay, very good. Good to know for future.
Next is 19-mile mowing and electric.
Are these the actuals, Diane?
Let me look.
Because we've historically been in the 2,000,
Yeah,
$2,500 range, and now we're in the 15.
This type of,
Young lady. 19-mile mowing and electric.
oh, yes, okay. Excuse me, I just wanted to point out something. Is this a transposed number, or did you, was this last year, did you increase it? Or is this did you transpose the number?
Oh, yeah.
Probably not, because look how.
Probably
high it is.
not,
I did
yeah.
look at that.
Yeah.
Actually, it went up. Did you want to increase that?
Well, as far as maintenance, it went up because I had to, when we had the lightning strike, there was, almost $2,000 worth of stuff that had to be fixed because of that.
Lightning never strikes twice.
Twice.
Okay. Just double check.
19-mile mowing,
So,
young lady.
Okay,
Yeah, going back several years, 2,500, 2,000, 1,800, 2,900, 2,500. This year, we spent 1,300. So was there something in there that
Didn't hit.
went someplace else, or?
I think that was when Corey redid the mowing quote. You know what I mean? Things were in different areas, I think.
Well, we're already over budget this year
Right.
by $185, so $1,500 doesn't cover it. But are there other items in that 19-mile mowing and electric?
It's just electric and mowing.
That's it?
Yeah, it's,
The electric's gonna be a little higher because they have all those rock bands down there in the summer. Playing
All the
that-
what?
Playing that funky music.
Yeah.
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 I'm gonna recommend that we go to 2.
2,000?
Yeah,
That sounds good.
can always be our slush fund.
oh, see, the
What year is this?
parking area also has lighting.
Yeah.
So I get 2 bills on that,
Right.
2 electric bills.
Diane, was I at 37 and change on that, the one that you said that, did I transpose it with the fire station maintenance?
So we're at transfer station electrical now?
Yes. Leave it at 3,500.
Yeah.
Transfer station heat.
The heat, I'm questioning because we haven't run that high.
In a while.
16, it was 1658, 15, it was 2490.
So 36.
It just seems like 4 grand is
3,700.
the upper window thing here. We hit 4 grand in 2014.
What about changing that to 3,500?
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Your thoughts, Bill? Chip?
Do we have any more heating bills coming in for the transfer station there? Dan? We had $119 that just hit.
Let's see, when the last time I did it.
And that's $2,300.
Let's see.
And it is December 15th.
Yep.
I didn't do that one. Hold on, I don't know. Jeez, I have to go look, I don't have it with me.
So far, we've expended 1,658, correct?
Yeah.
No, that was last year.
No, we expended 1,690.
Yeah, so right now we've spent 1690.85. So,
Yeah, this comes from Clay, those are his budget numbers, so I don't know his rationale for this amount, 2018.
well, it's gonna have to land somewhere around 3,000 or 3,500 bucks. It's the most I'm gonna look.
I said drop it to 3,500 at a minimum. You happy with 3,500, guys?
It's fine.
Yeah.
Transfer station maintenance?
Yeah, we'd already talked about that with Clay. That includes adding that cable, right?
Yes.
And plus, I think there's some outside preservation or something.
Yes.
I remember in definition.
So we're gonna keep that at
Keep that at
10.5.
10.5.
Yes. Davis Field Electric?
Oh.
That's that unused service.
Baseball night games?
Yeah. So, I think 400 is fine.
Okay.
We had no usage this year, I don't know if we'll have any usage next year.
Central Fire Department heat. You're on it.
Put in for 7,000.
You've spent $4,057 so far this year.
Is that the most current?
It is as of
Yes.
7:47 a.m.
Okay, awesome. I know that I have an $1,100 bill.
Is that current enough for you, Chief?
That's awesome. I have a $1,100 bill that they delivered yesterday.
All right, so
So,
that's,
Okay, so that pushes you up to $6,100.
yep,
and I probably will have one more
yep.
delivery every 2
So we'll leave
weeks.
that at 7 grand.
Yeah.
Next is Davis Field mowing.
So we've spent $3,360 so far this year.
Out of 4,600. So,
And there won't be any more mowing this year.
yeah. So maybe we wanna make that 3,500?
Yes.
Other property,
Other property maintenance improvements.
okay, so somehow there's $9,800 that's been spent on other property.
Do you have I remember we put something into there.
Yeah, we did 2,400, we paid half of the Cow Island survey, 2,400.
Mhm.
And then,
Do you have the other half to pay?
yes, we just still do.
Okay.
It's in a,
And we did $1,200 worth of work for Gillum excavation, Old Woods Road cleanup.
Yep,
yes.
Yep.
Okay.
And,
Excuse me, on Cow Island, we have a total due 2,400.
Mhm.
We paid half of it.
and then
Right.
an additional $825 for waste. We had waste management pickup.
That was on the cleaning up of the property.
Island?
Yeah. That's why we ended up
yep.
spreading over. And we still have to pay the $2,400 to Ames Associates. And they're not done yet with the
Right.
survey.
Excuse me, Jack,
Yes.
Cow Island survey,
Yeah.
any indication when you're gonna get the finished product from them?
No, there was some things in, they sent it for me to look at, and when they sent it, it was on my phone, so but I've looked at it this morning, it looks fine. I gave you the other piece of paperwork too, did you look at that? Did you get,
On what?
it was
So,
so,
yeah, it's up there.
Yeah, it's-
it was the second page, did you read the second page? To see if you wanted to do these items down here?
we haven't read this yet.
Okay.
Is there a price for
Just
that?
worried about, they're wondering if you wanna go research the title of it and all that, the deed, so. Their part is pretty much done, they just have to go out once more to put some pins in the corners. If you look at that, I think it's the second last paragraph.